Drill instructors / drill sergeants of Reddit. What's the funniest thing you've seen a recruit do that you couldn't laugh at? Had one recruit paying attention to a bunch of geese rather than us. Made him get up and chase them all away. As they flew in the air we made him follow them for several hundred feet to make sure they wouldn't come back. I was dying of laughter on the inside. I was going through Air Force basic training, and when on guard duty if an unauthorized person wanted to be let into the bunks you had to report it to your drill sergeant. Our sister flight's drill sergeant came up while I was on guard and requested entry, so I reported to my sergeant and he had me ask the other a series of questions. This particular sergeant had a bushy mustache, so one question I had to ask was, in what year was Magnum PI cancelled? He dropped out of view from the window laughing, came back up and yelled, "It was never cancelled because I am still here." It took everything I had not to crack up. While in basic we had a female that loved to smile. She was just a happy person in general. Well, my TI, training instructor, came in, and she caught the female trainee smiling. TI didn't like smiling. She walked up to the female trainee and yelled, "Wipe that smile off your face." Female trainee stopped smiling. The TI continued to yell, "No, literally wipe the smile off your face with your hand." Trainee does so. "Now throw it on the ground." Trainee follows orders. "Now stomp on it and scream die. Smile die as loud as you can." The female trainee stood there for a second before following through. Her tiny little voice cracks as she yelled, "Die, smile die," and I will say it took everything I had not to bust out laughing. An RDC in another division asked a guy if he shaved that morning and the guy claimed he had. The RDC said, "Recruit, you are either a werewolf or you are lying. So which is it?" The guy responded, "I must be a werewolf, petty officer." We had two 5 feet 1 inches stocky blonde guys named Johnson in our company one cycle. Different platoons. No relation at all, but they looked really similar. One day during grass week a couple J-hats made them face each other and go back and forth screaming, "You're not Johnson. I'm Johnson. No, you're not Johnson. I'm Johnson." You have absolutely no clue how hard it was to not break into a million pieces after about 5 minutes of that. I work at basic training ranges and we had a drill sergeant yell at his solider while they were getting ready to go down a buddy live fire exercise. The solider froze and started crying. This 18-year-old kid was just in tears for getting yelled at. The DS yelled at him some more and he finally gave up cause this kid wouldn't stop crying. So he made him scoop tears off his face and put them in his pockets till he filled his pockets up with tears. He did this for like an hour. It was hilarious. My favorite basic story, Fort Benning, 1988, was during a locker inspection. The most steely-eyed, straight-laced DS we had was going through our stuff looking for contraband. He is asking random questions at the same time, very professional and serious. Then he asks a guy a few lockers down for me if he has any naked pictures of his girlfriend. Recruit yells, "No, drill sergeant." Drill sergeant looks him dead in the eye and asks, "Do you want to buy some?" A bunch of us started cracking up and had to push. Not a drill sergeant, but when I was in basic I saw 3 drill sergeants surrounding a private who was laying down, and they were all screaming, "Go to sleep right now, private. You take a nap this very second, you poor tired soul." Not exact words, but you get the gist of it. I still wonder how he got himself into that predicament. During FTX, the DS told me to get a trash bag, then go around and collect as many pine cones as I could. For like 3 hours. Had a bunch of trash bags. He then took a little walk around, contemplated for a bit, then said that he was mistaken and it looks better with pine cones. He ordered me to redistribute all the pine cones. We had this kid who kept pissing himself. One day, after the range, he informs our DI that he had pooped himself right after showers. Squad bay starts to hold back laughter. DI, "It's not funny." Awkward silence. DI, "Okay, it's a little funny, but we aren't laughing." Man never cracked a smile during the whole thing. Buddy of mine told a story when he was at basic. One guy had said, "Yes mom," to the female DS earlier in the day, so when they were all lined up, she was going down the line, asking each person if they called her mom earlier. The guy who did was 4th in line, heard the 3 previous guys say, "No," drill sergeant, and then said in all seriousness, "No ma'am." When I was in boot camp, our drill instructor had a recruit sit in front of his own reflection, stainless steel panel, and continually ask himself if he really wanted to be here for 3 hours, all while screaming at him to mean it. And "I don't believe you. I don't know how they didn't crack up" was hilarious. Not a TI. Husband was in chow hall. Once you're finished with your non-carbonated/non-caffeinated drink, the glass is supposed to be turned upside down. Husband yells to trainee, "Hey trainee, turn your glasses upside down." Trainee proceeds to remove his eyeglasses, turns them upside down and puts them back on his head. "What's that disgusting crap all over your glasses, maggot?" "I believe it's your saliva." Drill sergeant, "Sir," closes eyes and waits for death. At Benning in the late 2000s, we didn't get forks or knives until the end of red phase. You really can put anything between 2 slices of bread and call it a sandwich. Drill instructor made a recruit stand in front of a tree pointing saying, "I'm not funny, you are." When he was caught laughing, the DI did actually laugh at that one. I feel like I'd be laughing even if I was the one talking to the tree. USAF, TI, "Are you finished yet?" Trainee, "Done." "No, sir, I'm done." TI walks away to avoid laughing. Did done just use a dad joke and get a laugh out of it in the United States Air Force? I overheard a "Yes, petty officer. Yes, petty officer. Yes, petty officer. Okie dokie." Petty officer had to make a quick about face and flee before he busted up laughing. It was fantastic. I imagined that in Super Mario's voice, making it all the better. During Air Force BMT, my flight was practicing marching one afternoon. As our flight was still fairly new, our marching was pretty terrible. One of the assistant TI reamed us all out and then proceeded to awkwardly mock us by marching and walking like Jar Jar Binks, while giving a spot on impression. I'll never forget it. He just wanted an excuse to do the impression. My dad, who was an RDC, shrugs and says, "Oh." I laughed. "Your hat is called your cover. It's the first day. I wanted some recruits from the back to the front to carry stuff. Get up here with your covers." They went and grabbed their sheets. Not a DS, but in basic 2005 we had a recycle come through with the last name Fu. DS got a kick out of asking him to spell his name whenever they wanted to mess with us. DS, "Spell your name, Private Fu." Poor sad hated soul. Drill sergeant, "F you drill sergeant." DS commences destruction. What does being smoked mean? It means someone messed up and now the entire group has to pay for it with exercise until the drill sergeant gets tired. Like elementary PE times a million when one kid didn't run around the gym fast enough, so we all had to keep running another 15 laps or until we threw up. What elementary school did you go to? Paris Island? That explains the crayons. You will color with Rosette and you will like it. A pair of battle buddies were late to formation. Everyone was lined up waiting for them to get dressed, and they ran down about 3 seconds apart from each other, which was a big mistake. First one runs out. Drill screams, "Freeze. Aren't you supposed to have someone with you?" And without skipping a beat the private replied, "The force is always with me, drill sergeant." After thinking about it for a sec, he told the private to shut up and fall in line. His buddy, meanwhile, had made his way outside and was trying, poorly, to sneak into line. Drill sergeant sees the private sneaking. "Well, now hold on a second. Who's this big shot over here walking around like he owns the place? You the new top? You think you're special?" Private, "No, drill sergeant. I'm the force." Everyone, including the lead drill, lost it for 2 seconds. Had 2 guys get in a fight an hour bay during basic. Drill sergeant made them hold hands and pretending to be on a date all week. Only time they could let go of each other's hands was rack time. They ended up becoming pretty good friends. When I was going through boot camp, we had a guy get the flu or pneumonia or something and was laid up in his bunk for a while. Our chief walks in and does his rounds and walked over to him. He said, "Silver, how long you been in your bunk?" "A week?" Silver responded. "You can count, chief." Needless to say, that went over well. The whole division got beat for like 2 hours. I still laugh at it when I get asked about boot camp. Don't know why, but saw a recruit doing burpees and at the top of his jump with arms stretched out he would yell, I'm a beautiful star. Make sure to like and subscribe for all the best Reddit videos.